Okay, hi everyone. This is take two of the Dish on Aging live stream project. I'm hoping I am connected. I seem to be. Little bit of internet challenges. Some of you might have seen the tape. I think I was on for 2 minutes and had to go off. Um, yeah, so in case anybody is wondering, if you ever want to put together a live stream requires the very fast internet connection. And what happens is during busy times of the internet, everyone's internet can fluctuate up and down. Is it super fast? Is it the 5G? Is it the 4G? Is it the 3G? And what I am learning is that if my internet goes below the fast speed, the live stream just stops. And so when YouTube is taping my presentation, that's when you might have a gap of like 2 or 3 minutes or 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is. So I'm doing the best I can. I have like 2 or 3 different internet sources all at once, and I'm trying to keep them all current and going. Yeah, I got my 5Gs now, so we should be good. So I saw somebody came on and then went off. So I'm guessing that the viewing audience might also be having internet challenges. So the live stream, yeah, it requires more internet. When we're just surfing the net, it does not require much. Second, I have a feeling this is the psychologist questions. I'm going to have been asked of me this week. Do you know inside of an to the bid if you have a medical exemption? And I let people know because, gosh, now that we're seeing that there are individuals, if you can still know if I'm half connected or not, but I'm going to just have to keep talking because there's nothing that I can do with the exception is I have actually I can connect to 2 internet sources at the same time. I have my Ethernet connection, and that's at 5G. And then I also have a connection from my cell phone as a backup, and I can just keep refreshing that. So if you're viewing, and if you're able to get on and ask a question, then by all means, if you have a question today you'd like me to address, just type your question in. And I'm going to have to just keep talking through this. A little video is a little off, but can hear you now. Good, good. Okay, so where I was. Oh, yes. I'm answering the question about will the healthcare system change now that Pfizer has full announcement that they're now full FDA approval. I was then asked to provide a copy of my card to that healthcare system, and also what came with that email request was copies of forms. If you need a religious or a medical exemption, fill out these forms. I did not need a medical exemption or a religious exemption because I'm fully vaccinated. So thank you, JL, to let me know that you're here. So, um, so now Pfizer's fully vaccinated, so that is really good. One of the focuses of this video presentation is to help guide people to find one task you can do each day to help with a positive and construction action you can take separate from the fact that so much of the world around us is getting a little bit chaotic. One of the things that can be helpful to know, as you'll remember last Monday, I was talking about how in psychology there's this concept that knowledge is power. The more information we have, the more power we have, the more ability we have to kind of prepare for our day, for our week, for what's ahead. And one of the things that I'm preparing everyone for is that Today is August 26th, and so next week schools are starting back. Either next week on the 30th, Monday or Tuesday, the 30th, 31st. Other school districts are starting back after Labor Day, which is going to be September 7th. So according to some local news reports, I think that any family that has children or grandchildren in the public school systems, it's going to be an unusually tense and anxious start to the school year. And many of us who are on the video today, we don't have children, or some of you may have grandkids in the school district, but I want to kind of give a heads up so we acknowledge his power. I think it's going to be emotionally tense. I am expecting in my own neighborhood here that over the course of the next week that nerves are going to be frayed, tempers might be short, and it's going to be related to, are schools going back in person or not? Are they going to start and then stop or not? Are they going to be masks required or not? So there's enough there for everyone to have a strong emotional reaction. And it's important for us to know as we're going through our communities that there can be a lot riding on this. I mean, I'm hearing people talk about that there are job applicants going into healthcare settings, and they're actually saying as part of the interview, yes, I can start as long as the local school district is open and my children can be at school during the day. If not, I have to wait before I can start the job. So you actually have parents out there that are applying for jobs in healthcare systems and also in other jobs that are very much in need of employees. And they're saying, as part of an application process, my start date is really dependent on, can the school district go back or not? So that is going to be part of the frayed nerves. The other part is the masks. Governor Wolf just today submitted he wants mask mandates across every public school, K through 12, a district in Central Bucks County. The vote from the teachers was no, we don't want a mask mandate. So some of the parents who have young children who are too young to get vaccinated, and those children may have asthma or other medical conditions. They're very upset about it, and some parents are upset at the idea that their children may have to be required to wear a mask or asked to wear a mask at school. So I want to just kind of put that out there so we can come up with our plan when we get in the car to go to the supermarket this week. Before you even drive that car out of the driveway, make a decision to kind of be in a positive frame of mind, and that you may be encountering people who may be a little bit irritable or not quite themselves. We can compensate for that. I was coming home from the supermarket yesterday, and I was afraid there was going to be a brawl in the parking lot. I don't think it had anything to do with mask mandates. I think a family was decided they were going to go to a neutral location and have a conversation about something, and didn't get to blows. That was good, but there were shouting in the parking lot. And no, I don't even know what it was about. But yeah, so our focus each day when you get up out of bed in the morning is to focus on, what is one thing I can do today that will be positive and constructive so that I can stay calm and focused and I can have a good day. And for each person, that will be something different. And suggestions that I have are just to kind of, even just taking the action, I'm going to be positive. Cashier was not wearing a mask, but I was. Yeah, when I was in Acme, it was the same way. Because when we're out in public, there were some businesses who are making the decision to require that every visitor who comes into that store must wear a mask. And in those situations, of course, all of the employees will also be wearing masks. But we're not to a mask mandate here in Pennsylvania in terms of going into stores. I always have, for the last 3 to 4 weeks, I have had my mask on while being fully vaccinated. So we have a choice of wearing masks, and when we're in the store, we may find that we may be the only person in the store wearing a mask, and so that's okay. It's one of the things that I love about this mask challenge is that nobody said you can't wear a mask. So if you're going to feel more comfortable, and I know I do, I have been fully vaccinated, and I believe I was exposed to COVID and had mild COVID. Mild COVID meaning not having to be hospitalized, and that was in March. I don't want to go March of 2020. I don't want to go through that again. So because of we're at a high rate of transmission right now, anyone who is not vaccinated can expect that there was an infectious disease doctor on television this week saying this virus will find you if you're not vaccinated. It's that contagious. And then those of us like myself who are fully vaccinated, they're finding that the COVID is sneaking through. We're not getting as sick, but we are getting some breakthrough infections amongst the fully vaccinated. And that is the reason why we are also getting booster shots at our 8th month after our second dose. So great question or observation from JL this morning or this afternoon about, yeah, just you have your option of wearing your mask. And I've been wearing my mask and others aren't. And that's how life goes forward. So the question about mandates that the governor put forward today, August 26th, was about, is there going to be a mask mandate in public schools between the ages of the grades of K through 12? And it's not clear, but probably isn't going to pass. But the reason why the governor put that idea forward is there's a recognition that every school district across the state is having a different policy or regulation or approach to the idea about masks. So Governor Wolf wanted some consistency. And so here we are going to be the start of the school district. Like I said, the reality is I think the default over the next couple of weeks is everybody's going to be walking around and saying this is complete nonsense, and it's going to cause stress and people to feel strained. And the reason why they're saying this is complete nonsense may be a different reason for each person, but there will be a universal agreement this is complete nonsense. As parents are realizing the district 3 miles away has one set of rules. The district where their children goes has another set of rules. The private school kids and the parochial school kids may have a third and fourth set of rules as well. And this is just life as we're moving forward. And that we have a term that we use in psychology. It's called crazy making. It's not that I'm not talking about a pejorative of calling somebody crazy. That's one of the most unkind pejorative statements you can make. I'm talking about a situation that is crazy making, meaning if you are emotionally healthy and you are cognitively healthy and you are in that situation, the situation is so dysfunctional or not logical that you will start to feel like you're going crazy. So that's a crazy making. So as we're transitioning into the start of a new school year, when you have inconsistencies and ambiguous guidance on how to move forward as a pandemic is on the uptick, I can only imagine those who have young children who are too young to get vaccinated, emotions and anxieties are going to be a little bit high. So as you're talking to, maybe trying to offer emotional support to family, friends, and in my case, it will be neighbors, um, who are have children or going into the school districts or they're working in the school districts, I would suggest you give the following advice. The Serenity Prayer. Change or take action when you can, kind of step back and accept when you can't, and know the wisdom, and ask for the wisdom to know the difference. And in some cases, this may be just about moving forward and saying, what is one positive thing I can do today? Maybe it's just smile. Maybe it's just looking forward to a laugh with a friend. I've been interacting with people this week, and they always have a new joke of the week. By the way, I think I saw that on the websites of one of the senior centers, where one of the Bucks County senior centers, where they have joke of the week to try to get people separate from what's going on in the world. What is a joke? What is something we can look forward to laugh? The other challenge that's coming up is world events. Some of us are like, this is deja vu all over again. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 just horrible, horrible events, and we're turning the television on and we're having to hear about the Taliban, ISIS, and explosions this morning. And as I'm talking to people throughout my day, I'm at work. So I'm not looking at the images on television. I just don't have time. I've occasionally look at a news headline. And I've been able to, I also didn't have time this morning to watch the news. I was actually listening to music. And so that was keeping me nice and coincidentally just calm, just listening to classical music as I'm going about my morning routine. And it's kept me in a calm, peaceful place. And I wasn't even deliberately trying to insulate or buffer myself from some really upsetting news stories and images on television. Now, it's important to keep up with what's happening in our world. So at the end of my workday, I will sit down, I will spend some time watching, say, one news show or to get an update on what's going on. And I probably will be exposed to some of those images of just terrible explosions and so on. But it's going to be in what we call doses. It's not going to be sitting all day and just hearing these stories over and over again. So that's something that you can do also in your day. One small action you can do today is say, how am I going to structure or plan my day so I have a peaceful space, whether it's it's too hot to open the window, but whether it's sitting by a window to listening to the birds chirp, whether it is putting a app on or listening on television to some calming music for a time, or just putting a comedy on that's on my Netflix account so that I can have a brief escape from some of the challenges. And these are real challenges. And then we'll have the opportunity at a different part of the day to jump in and face what we have to face. Um, for example, are we going to make a decision to wear our own mask? How comfortable are we going to be that others are wearing a mask or not? And I encourage everyone, we have control over ourselves. We get to make our own decisions about ourselves. And there's so much information out there, we don't have to bring it to the attention of anyone else. So even if we're not comfortable with the decisions other people are making, whether it's our friends, family, or elected officials, or school boards or teachers, we have to just kind of step back and say, I don't have control over that. I have control over myself. And some might say, yes, I'm going to start the day by walking around my yard without a mask. Others are going to say, I'm going to start my day by walking around my yard wearing a mask, because to each of those two people, that's what's important to them. All right, then. I don't know if I still have been able to maintain an internet connection. I'm going to go back and watch this now to see how much was taped. And if anybody has the ability to type in a question, now's the time to do that before we close out. Okay, great. And I'll see you back Monday at 9 o'clock from 9 to 9:30. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.